How's it going, everyone? Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Rick's 2 Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
I get to go second this time because Skylar's not here tonight.
And Roger from Roger Shop.
Howdy, howdy.
And Skylar is not with us today. She is taking her kids to cheer. So she may jump in on the comments, but she won't be able to. What is it? You see this new option? It says show comments on stage. I wonder what that is.
I don't see that.
Mine's turned on, so.
I don't know what that exactly means.
Let's see. Oh, I think the stage is where we are on the. So I think, yeah, they'll pop up right away automatically, I think.
Oh, automatically? No, we'll see. Let's check it out.
I think so.
James from Ozark, Alabama. Hello, James. Hello, hello, hello.
We'll wait for somebody to post.
Yeah,
Did you just click Kevin on there?
Yes, you know what I did, because I was gonna catch up and then see if it goes like new to come in. Kevin said, "Good evening, everyone from Tennessee. Hello, hello." Oh, look, it's in the bottom right. You see it?
Bottom right, bottom right. Oh, that little thing?
Yeah.
How the hell are we gonna see that?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. It's too small.
I mean, I guess everyone else can see that though, right?
Yeah, but I'm looking at this on a big screen, and that was hard to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it on, well, it's a 4K monitor, but
yeah, it was kind of
not full screen or anything.
I don't know.
I'm looking at a 27-inch monitor. That was hard to read.
Mr. Ochoa, let us know when you're joining us from. Appreciate everyone joining the live.
Star of Texas is back tonight.
Yeah, what's up, everyone?
He plugged me for some X-Tool maintenance job.
So did you actually talk to X-Tool because of that?
No. I assume they probably went, oh, he's already a content creator, so yeah, we're not going to distract him.
Yeah, look how small it is. I don't know. It says Kevin Rich. Well, Rick, did you fire up the F1?
Yeah, if you see me squinting like
yeah.
This, yeah.
Okay, I think we'll just stick
to
that.
You can probably change the font or something, but.
Good evening from Maine. Hello, hello, hello. Rick said, did you fire up the 1F? You know, actually, I have not, but I do actually plan on doing it this weekend. Just crazy. But I was also excited because I just showed right before we went live to Steve. I got the tracking number for the rotary, and it'll be here Wednesday, it says.
Are you gonna bury it in your table like I did? Oh, you have to cut a hole in your Craig table. But...
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I'll probably reach out to you when I get to that point and see what's the best way to do this.
It involves 4 pulleys, a really long belt. Because mine, I have power to each corner, like because the thing is heavy, right?
Right.
And a NEMA 23 motor running it.
It says it's in Buffalo, New York right now.
So they literally just drove it across the bridge.
Yeah. So we'll see. Good evening from South Milwaukee. Speaking of South Milwaukee, we were just saying there's a Summerfest going on in Milwaukee right now, coming up soon. Looks like maybe kind of a Harley Fest, Rock Fest kind of deal.
Sounds like a drinking occasion.
Tim said he's been busy gardening. Yes, I have been busy gardening. Lowe's actually sponsored my garden this year, so thank you, Lowe's. So it's
you're such a shill, man.
What's that?
You're such a shill.
What's a shilt?
Somebody who sells themselves for a bit of free stuff.
Nah, you know,
you're gonna convince somebody to partner with you to come and harvest for you.
Hey, Mr. Beast just signed up for Lowe's, so they're doing something right.
Well, he's late to the game.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. Madre said hello, happy Wednesday, from Wisconsin. Hello.
We saw this name before.
Madre.
Kokona.
Kokona.
Let us know, you guys, if you have any questions, CNC related, 3D printers, woodworking, lasers.
Hey, Andrew.
Anything you have, let us know.
He wants to see Lawnmower Wars. There you go.
Oh, did you hear? Did you see that, Steve? You got called out.
Did I? For what?
Yeah, on our Facebook group because they said I posted the video of the lawnmower, and they says, "Where's your lawnmower, dude? Like, you've never posted a video of your lawnmower."
I did a video of mine. I didn't
Right,
do a
but you didn't
video of
post
the
it on the
new one
group.
because I don't
I'm
have
saying
the new
they
one.
they say you didn't post the video on the group.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, so they wanted to see it.
It was only last year.
Uh-oh,
I
look at
I
this.
got a little artistic in that one because the closing scene is my lawnmower driving off into the sunset back to
Oh,
work.
wow. Now we got to see this video.
Somebody made a comment. Somebody liked it. So
There you go. Robert said, a good evening to everyone from Granby, Quebec.
Granby, Quebec. Your wife will know where that is.
Yeah.
Where's your wife from in Quebec?
I'd have to ask her.
Quebec City.
David said, Summerfest has been going on for years. It's pretty much music. Yeah, see. They wanted me to go as an influencer, so to speak. But I don't know. I don't think so. I got a question for everybody. Since I'm starting with the CNC, where is a good resource for files? It's kind of starter files, just to practice, so to speak. I know you can create your own, but I'm saying just
Oh, I have found some. Hang on. See if I bookmarked them. I probably didn't.
Kevin said that lawnmower looks fun. I'm making business cards using my conveyor. Yeah,
Onefinity.
I'm big on
Or,
stripes.
an X tool.
I'm big on stripes. So normally I have a 60-inch deck on my John Deere. So and I crosshatch it just because I like the way it looks. But with that lawnmower, I could do, what was it, 60 and 140. So it made X's. So it's pretty cool. It looks pretty good. But it looks like a push mower, right? Because they're so narrow. They're not, wide like a 60-inch deck.
Yeah. But people walk down my street and they stop and watch mine.
Yeah.
And they make a comment, like if I'll see them on the street, they'll make a comment like, wow, that thing cuts straight lines.
Yes.
It's GPS, right? So it's accurate to within like a fraction
quarter
of an inch.
They said. Yeah, they said a quarter of an inch accuracy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Did you have to set up like that GPS antenna? What is it called?
The RTK?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just stuck it up on my shed. It just has to be in the general vicinity. You don't need line of sight or anything. It's HF, right? So
yeah, I just mounted it. I have a pump house. I mounted it to that.
Yeah. So, what do you have for, you have a Motion?
What is it? Bestmo?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize there were other ones that were using RTK.
I think they all are. That at least
some of them. So
unless you're using the line, right?
I did get a message from Motion, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. They're actually going to send me another one. It's a small one, so literally it could do like not even my front yard because it's only good for a third of an acre or something. But it uses they, of course, like everything else on the planet, it's got AI built into it now. So you don't have to do a site plan. It'll just basically figure out what it should run over and what it shouldn't. So
yeah, that was crazy because the first time it did it took 9 hours. The second time it did it took 2 hours. So that was pretty drastic. And I was watching it kind of like fumble through my son's playset. It was like boom, 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 like trying to go all the way around this. And I was thinking about making it like a known obstacle, but I kind of wanted it to like cut in all those little areas it could go in. So I just let it do its thing.
Yeah, I got mine. I have one spot in my yard where it gets caught. I have a support wire for my clothesline because I have about 2 inches of soil before I hit rock. So it gets caught in that thing twice a week. And it just like it'll try, and it's basically tied up at this point, and it'll try, and then it'll send me a message on my phone and say, hey, help me, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, nice. Looks like Ochoa is asking you a question, Steve.
Yeah. Mauricio. Yeah, no, he watched my spoon video making CNC spoons. You can make that.
What did he say? I've designed a couple ugly spoons.
Well, it's easy to design ugly spoons. I've designed my share of those too.
Yeah. I've been seeing what is that? Wow. It's like a show, a bunch of little kids who are witches. They go to school together. Why can't I think of the name?
Little rascals. Like
No.
how old?
No, they're like a bunch of kids who go to school and they're learning to be like witches.
Oh,
Why can't I
I
think of the name?
don't know.
I know people are doing that.
But when you say a bunch of kids that go to school, that sounds like
They're in high school.
every 80s and 90s sitcom.
No, it's a newer one. Etsy. Kevin said Etsy is a good place to find some CNC files.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you guys got a besides
there are
Etsy,
free ones. There are free ones.
besides Etsy, I'm not even saying necessarily it has to be free. Just what do you think is a good resource for pre-made files that I could practice with the CNC? If you guys have any good resources.
So you know what to do.
What's that?
You can take any STL file. Like if you want to make 3D stuff, take any STL file and slice it through the middle. In fact, you don't even need to do that. You can do it in VCarve automatically. And then bring it into VCarve, and you can then raise and lower the height to get it to what you want to see, and just fire it over to your CNC, and it'll work.
Nice.
Once you learn about tool paths and tools and all those things. But
there's going to be some learning curves for sure.
Yeah, a little bit. But if you know how to run a laser, it's just one more dimension. How hard is that? It's not like they're introducing time, right? So
right. Mine just said, what type of files are you looking for? Nothing in particular, to be honest with you, just some things to practice. Just because, it's my first real CNC, so to speak. So, yeah, that's all. Kevin said X Tool F1 Ultra. What about it?
I asked. He said he was making something on his conveyor.
Oh, okay.
There's not too many lasers that have conveyors.
All right, Roger says
he's getting Lord of the Rings vibes from your shirt.
That's the tree of life.
It does kind of have that sense to it, like.
Star of Texas says customer wants a quote for clear acrylic invitations, but wants the words in gold and rose gold letters. Any idea how to get rose gold on clear acrylic?
Yeah,
HTV.
If you do a deep engrave, then you can just run some paint into it, and then take a wet block, put a piece of damp paper towel around a block and just wipe it off,
or mass tape it, and then.
If you look, I did a short on engrave with the Omni 1 engraving a ceramic tile, and I used that same technique. It's really easy.
Yeah, you could mass tape it too, so that way that you engrave and the
the problem with masking it is then you got to pick all that stupid tape out. And if you're doing really fine lettering, which you probably are for a wedding,
agreed.
It's going to take forever.
You know, the one thing that I noticed is when I was trying to be like, really careful and not like get it out so that would make it easier to clean up. It seems like it was just a pain to get those off. When I was careless and I kind of left it globby, then it was easy to just rip off. So I was like, you know what? Instead of like, I was just kind of manhandle.
Yeah, even this way, if I'm not using masking tape, if it's a hard surface like ceramic tile or in this case acrylic, just blob it in. You don't even have to try and be neat, because you want to get as much paint in the engrave as you can. That's why you want a deep engrave, right? So you can get some paint puddled up in there.
Tim said rub and buff if you can find the color. Yeah, I've seen some of that. I've never actually used it, but I've seen other people do it on YouTube, to be honest. I just said, what is the difference and benefits of using the current version, current position versus user origin?
User origin is a little bit more complex to do. Current position is kind of a brain dead thing. You put the laser head where you want it, and that's current position.
Yeah, I personally don't use either of those. I use just absolute.
Oh, I don't either, but I know how they work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, back in the olden days of lasers, diode lasers, everybody used manual positioning, right?
Well, yeah, we didn't have any limit switches.
Yeah, no limit switches. So yeah, nowadays, if the laser supports supports physical positioning, you might as well just use that.
Roger, you want to take this one?
I don't quite understand the question. Maybe it's going over my head or something here.
Terry said, when engraving tile, how to keep the engraving the 4-inch square that you put the text in? Am I reading that you're how to align it.
Oh, I
within
think
the
he
corner?
wants to do like, if I'm reading this correctly, he wants to do a text engrave and then do a pattern engrave around the outside of it and not mess up the text.
Rephrase the
right,
question,
Terry?
Terry. We're not understanding exactly.
Okay, from
We'll come back to you.
a square that you put the text in. Like, yeah, he's looking for like, is there an exclusion zone in Lightburn or something?
How to keep the engraving the 4-inch square and you put the text in. I'm almost
Well,
thinking,
if
are
you
you
do-
talking about aligning it, or let us know
Well,
what
if you got two different layers, you can turn one layer on or off if you know, or do the two layers. Well, of course, they would follow themselves in order, but no.
Yeah, Mauricio says you can also bring STL files into Fusion. So you don't use Fusion, do you?
I have not.
So you need the commercial version of Fusion to do this, the paid version, because it has CAM in it as well, right? Basically, what vCarve does, except it's more powerful but way more complicated. I've tried to use it, and it's not easy.
Kevin said, I'm on a Hamilton CNC with me, and there's a ton of files that they already have on Toolpaths for Vetrich.
Yeah, when you did you buy vCarve yet?
No.
So usually when you buy vCarve, they'll include a bunch of packages of designs.
Okay.
And you'll probably get some there as well. But there are free sites, and I'll find some for you. If I remember, I'll look tomorrow and send you some.
Thanks. I'd appreciate.
And there's some cool ones, like if you want to make chess pieces or something, you can download those.
That's cool.
Now, David's asking here, I've got a pressure washer. I use it to clean the grates of my laser. I do the same thing, honeycomb boards as well. Any comments on such PSI or whatever? My only comment would be before you hit it with the pressure washer, put a brick in the back side of it unless you want to chase it down your driveway. PSI wise, you're not going to hurt anything. No. Break it up.
Yeah. I just wouldn't do the one, what is it? Yellow, which is like the straight one. I'd use like the fan one.
Yeah, use the yellow one or the green one. Don't use the white one.
Yeah. ATX Woodcrest said, if you want to practice in your CNC, put up French cleats and then design and make about 40 hangers for your tools. I guess.
Yeah. Or depending on your spoil board, if you have, so I have a hole, like a dog hole in my spoil board every 50 millimeters. So it's basically a big array of holes. And then you make tools to fit in those, right?
Cosmin said, quick question. Does Steve really make everything?
Not a lot I don't make.
He doesn't make Mexican food.
I do.
Oh, you do?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, maybe he does.
I make salsa.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
tacos? I can do tacos. I had tacos the other night.
I went to Mexico when I was like 17 with my wife, before she was my wife, obviously. And we're in this restaurant, and I tell the guy, hey, teach her how to make salsa. And he looked at me like, go screw off, right? I gave him $50 the rest of the night. Every time someone ordered it, they came straight to the table and he made it. She makes it to this day better than my mom.
Yeah, I generally make it too hot for my wife, so she doesn't like super hot things.
ATX Woodcraft says, set 4-inch square as your tool layer.
Yeah, you can do that. Or just have a separate layer, have two layers, one with your engraving on it and one with your text on it, and overlap them and just turn one off and engrave the other. And don't move your piece in between, and then just flip them. Turn the other one off. And
I tend to do that a lot because the different artwork, I use different settings. So I tend to have in my laser layers because of that reason.
Yeah, well, you could still do all that in a single job. You don't have to turn layers on and off. But
yeah, I know. I just like it that way. I don't know.
There are times when you actually have to do that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing something like if you have an X Tool F1 Ultra, for example, you may do two jobs because one is UV and one is IR. Well, blue and IR.
Oh, Kevin said, could you post those sites now, Steve?
What I'll do, I'll look them up. I'll find a couple anyway, and I'll post them to our Facebook group.
There you go. Oh, look at this. They even put StreamYard is making a bunch of new features. To be honest, I haven't had time to kind of just goof around here. But even at the bottom, they have an automatic built-in affiliate link. Do you see that?
Oh, is that the thing that keeps shoving it into the description whenever I post something, or is that you doing that?
No, I clicked it up to see it, but it didn't. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm sure Steve can post it on our Facebook group.
Yeah, I know I have some somewhere. I don't use them too often because anything I make, I usually design myself.
If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you got to join. You got to join. We are growing. I think we're actually almost like are we almost at 500? Like close, super close.
We might be close. I didn't have time to log in today to find out.
494 members. So we're 6 away from 500.
Surely 6 people on this call can go and subscribe.
Come on. Yeah. Another question for you guys. What do you do when you're getting like stuck? No new ideas, no something to create. Are you like a Pinterest scroller, a Facebook scroller? Like where do you get inspiration from to come up?
For me, that's easy. It's Captain Morgan.
I was gonna say Mr. Beast, but
you just drink a couple beers, relax, and things come to you.
Now a few drinks with some Captain Morgan and sitting out there watching the river, and I usually got a notepad, and I'll come up with ideas. I just jot them down. If I don't jot them down, I'll forget.
Right.
See, I live in an Apple device world, so usually if I'll be walking on the street and I'll pull out my phone and add something to my notepad, and I have 2 pages of project ideas and video ideas too.
Tim said just backed another EFI 1 printer. Really could use it this graduation time to do a glass awards. Yeah, it definitely seems, man. I don't have one. Obviously, Steve and Skylar had one. But...
Another Eufy? Like, Tim, do you have 2? Did you order 2 now?
There you go. Just got excited seeing all you guys' work.
I told him he could come to my place and play with it. Oh, he's got 2. Hopefully, you used my affiliate link.
You said yes, sir.
Oh, right. No, it's a nice printer, and I think they're starting to ship at the end of this month, early into July.
Nice. What are you drinking today, Roger?
What am I drinking?
Yep.
Dihydrogen monoxide in both the liquid and solid state.
Water and ice.
Yep.
See, an engineer would know that. A guy who climbs poles in the rain hoping he doesn't get electrocuted would not have any idea about that.
We all have our skill sets.
Do you ever get like weird like shocks off of poles and stuff?
In a big switch yard, yes, you can. I've been in big switch yards around steel mills and that, and I tell the guys, I says, do not lean on anything. So why not? I said, well, you can lean on it, that's fine. But when you move away, a lot of times you'll see the arc.
Yeah,
it's just a huge static shock.
I watched my electrician, and he's wiring up like a three-phase plug in my shop, and I said, "Do you turn the power off for this?" No. It's like he's in there with his hands. It's like, holy cow, man! I don't even like pulling plugs out of sockets, let alone going into the panel. So
the funniest story I have is in the middle of the night, like 2:30, we're on an outage, and we're pulling wire off of a cable reel. So meaning there's nothing connected to it, right? And they told us, watch it, that duct patch, there's inductance in there. We're like,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
We're just pulling the line, and I'm standing by this reel that's taller than me, and we're pulling the line, and every now and then the guy goes, ah! I'm like, shut up, man. You're blowing our eardrums out. I just got shocked. I'm like, how the hell are you getting shocked when the line is still connected to the reel? It's not connected to anything. What do you mean you just got shocked? Ah! And he did it like 5 or 6 times. I think he's messing around. And then finally I saw like this, like a little blue, like a little flash.
Plasma trail.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, I saw it. He's like, what? I'm like, I saw like a little like lightning flash. You saw that? I'm like, yeah.
See, other than like the occasional like outlet kind of shock, I have never really had a serious, electrocution. When I did work in industrial lasers that I worked on had 40,000 volt power supplies at probably 200 milliamps, like well enough to kill you.
Yeah.
And I did see, we had a lab tech, and you're not supposed to wear any kind of jewelry or anything in a lab unless it's like a plastic watch.
Right.
And I did see her weld her wedding ring to the top of one of these power supplies in my lab. We had to basically cut the thing off, and we gave her a desk job after that.
Yeah, I had to do an isolated ground, 32 miles of ungrounded line, 2 substations during a storm. And there was 2 of us, so I said, you do it or I do it, but both of us are not working at the same time. So he did the first one, and we drove 32 miles. Then I went on the other side and grounded the other one. But when I got home that weekend, I got life insurance.
Yeah, industrial lasers were fun though. You'd always get the co-op student, the intern, and usually when you're doing maintenance on one of these things, you take the covers off. You have to discharge these power supplies because they got massive capacitors in them, right? So they hold a charge for like 3 days, and we had these big cables with just 2 brass probes on them. And the typical thing was you'd put one end on the ground and then the other end on the power supply, but you'd get the new intern and he'd put it on this power supply and then he's looking around for a ground with this other one. It's like, just drop it and get out of the lab. Like, you're just terrifying me.
Robert said, I'm waiting for a UFI E1 and I have Epi Mini 24. Do you think I can use the UFI software to cut epilogue? Thank you. I would assume not.
To cut? No, is the answer. Short answer.
Yeah. It's like a proprietary software, right?
Well, also one's a laser and one's a printer. So I don't know what protocol UFI Make uses. The UFI Make E1 uses. It's probably some form of G code, but
yeah. ABD marketing. How's it
ATV
going, everybody?
marketing.
Hello. Don't recognize the name. Are you new? Thanks for joining us. Let us know where you're joining us from. Tim said, been sat by capacitors in the past. Never again.
I have too, but they tend to be low voltage by comparison to these things. I mean, these things were these big like PVC coated capacitors. Like they weighed about 30 pounds each, and they were like, I don't know, 1 farad. Like these things were just massive. And they were just terrifying.
Well, something we used to do back in high school, I took vocational electronics. And, as a senior, what you'd always want to like screw with the sophomores. So you would charge a capacitor up, a little electrolytic one with the axial leads on it. You charge it up and you say, hey, catch, throw it to them. Well, first instinct is you grab it and you catch it. Well, it discharges when
Yeah, that was always a fun thing to do in an electronics lab because the capacitor you're throwing is pretty small. But
yeah,
you could throw one of these PVC coated capacitors at somebody and it would kill them.
ATX Wood Design said, question, has anyone actually paid for the UFI yet? It looks like they made a deposit, but not billing. It looks like someone answered it and said, billing is June 28th.
Yeah, it's because it's a Kickstarter project. You don't actually buy things on a Kickstarter project. At least not initially. You pledge. It's like
you know what though, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
It gives you time to change your mind for one thing.
Well, not even that. Like look at the CNC. I paid for it. And how long did it take to show up? Like that's what I don't get. Like,
it's a bit odd that they do that. Like really, they shouldn't charge you until they're ready to ship it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like
lots of companies do it. Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying I think it's odd. Like, hey, I'm going to bill you something, and I'll mail it to you 3 months from now. You're in the queue. Weird. ATB Marketing. So this is my third time here, originally from Chicago area. Now live in South Carolina for about 4 years now. Roger and I are in the Chicagoland area, and I used to live in
I was going to ask
Fayetteville,
if you guys are getting smoke from all the forest fires.
Oh yeah, it's hazy here, hazy as hell.
There's
and last Saturday, our air quality was so bad that my wife has respiratory issues, and she had to stay inside.
Yeah, it's burned like 200,000 acres. Like it's just been insane this year, and it started early. It started in the end of April.
Ben said my K4 nearly electrocuted me. I hit the red wire with the screw. It came from the room faster than an Asian bolt. You know, when my K40, the first one I received had problems. I was checking the wiring on the actual tube, and all I did was take 2 wires and fold it together and take a solid piece of plastic and like drill a hole in it and push it in. Not like a wire nut or anything, just like
that's in general, those things, like when you think about it, I mean, those things are typically 25,000 volts at, I don't know, 25 milliamps. When you think about that, like even the red wire, if there's a crack in the insulation on the red wire, it'll arc, right? Like it's.
I went on Amazon.
Clearly, that's what happened to Ben here.
Yeah, I went on Amazon. There's actually a kit that's a termination kit.
Yeah,
that's for them, and I bought it and added it because it didn't have one.
But I've seen some of these cheap CO2 lasers where it's like, oh, we'll just twist the wire and wrap a piece of tape or heat shrink around it. It's like, no, this is not good. Solder it.
Yeah. Then said you can save 32% before they go full retail. Yeah.
Yeah. They've sold a pile of these things. Like it's crazy how this thing is taking off.
Barry said, good evening from sunny Charleston, West Virginia. Got some Canadian fire smoke here in the mountains.
Yeah, that'll teach you. Yeah. I mean, when you think about where this is coming from, right? This is coming from Western Canada. I mean, this is like 2,000 miles away from certainly this coast. And the smoke is getting here. Like here, we haven't had any smoke
then
here
we can
that
change
you can
the laws
smell,
and regulate your guys' smoke.
Well, there's like over 20,000 people that have been evacuated.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Radadu said, I would have thought they were. I would have thought they wouldn't be much smoke. There aren't tariffs on smoke across the border.
Yeah, we give you that for free, so there's no tax on it.
And of course, that smoke won't hang around too long here in Illinois because they'll tax it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, appreciate everyone letting us know your calm. Definitely growing a well-rounded following. So
last week or the week before, they were flying water bombers in. I don't know if you've seen a water bomber, massive. Basically, it's a big, massive flying water tank, right? And they said they had to call some of them off because some idiot was flying a drone in the vicinity, like basically taking aerial photos of the forest fire, so they couldn't put it out. And it's just like, if you owned a house in that area that was potentially going to burn to the ground because of this, you would just want to kick the crap out of that person.
Yeah,
like how dumb can you be, right? It's just nuts.
No, that's crazy, man.
Where's Medra? It's interesting to see where
Madre, where are you located at? Just curious, you're saying because of smoke. Yeah, that's crazy.
See, it hasn't been bad here, like not that you can smell, but we get really nice sunrises and sunsets now.
Well, we never really get to see the sun in full brightness here in the last week or two. It's just been hazy every day.
Yeah, they've showed some pictures of that area where some of the forest fires are, and the sky is just orange, like it's like white, like opaque orange.
Wisconsin, close to Green Bay, so yeah, that's north of us. So
yeah, that's getting close.
Yeah,
I mean, you're still 800 kilometers. I don't know what 400 or 500 miles away from the fires, the nearest fire, but. It's amazing how quickly it carries, or how far it carries.
Onefinity just emailed me right now and said, download the user manual for your CNC. Okay, I'll download it. No, I'm excited though.
I see that Masso guys just released an update for the controller, which supports the rapid change tool changer now. So this is one of my projects that I have on my list for about 3 weeks now that I haven't gotten to, is to do the update and get my tool changer running without all of the hacks and hoops I had to jump through the first time.
Any new reviews or anything coming up for you guys?
I have one coming up in a couple of weeks that I can't talk about yet. Also, the Ortour R2 is coming. That's a new enclosed class 1 diode laser.
Nice. How many watts?
I don't know. I think it's up to 40 or 50.
Nice.
I don't know what they're sending me.
I keep seeing flooded all over Facebook. I can't believe how much money they must have spent on these Facebook campaign ads. 70 watt, the largest 70 watt laser you can buy. They're showing all these influencers holding this thing. And I'm thinking, like,
who's that?
I think it's longer, right? Or who is that?
Oh, it wouldn't be longer.
Watts.
It's not
No,
longer.
it's not. Who is it? Let me Google it really quick.
I did see somebody selling
70
a 70 watt laser. Oh, it's the thing that Laser Engraver 911 is
the Atom pushing.
No, it's a new one. XL laser. That's it.
It's huge. It's huge. But I keep saying, like, I think it would be cool, but like,
oh, there you go. James says the Atom Stack A7.
Stack, yeah. Nope, sorry. Yeah, I think it would be cool, but it's like, it's huge. It looks like a dining room table. You know,
well, it has to be big to get that much laser moving around, right? That module is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, I don't know, probably 3 inches of dead space around the inside of the frame on a laser. So it has to be big.
Yeah, I was just like, man, because it's not enclosed, so you have to build your own enclosure. I don't think Clack has that one. The one he has is a standard rectangle. This thing is like a huge square. It's huge. ABT Marketing said, which engraver do you guys recommend for a beginner? I plan to use it for my business for promotional items, tumblers, coasters, glass, wood, acrylics, slate, and more.
Then you're looking at a CO2.
Yeah, especially with the acrylic.
Well, and glass.
Yeah, glass.
If you're actually going to run a business and you want something reliable, then probably like the X-Tool P2S or something. There's also the Hurricane. There's a couple of other entry, like the Omtech has a couple of desktop ones that aren't too bad.
Yeah, and I would just say, just being transparent and honest, like what's your realistic budget, right? Because that's gonna,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. So like my personal preference would be the X-Tool P2S, but it is also the most expensive one.
Right. So I mean, you're gonna buy some $2 blanks, and you're gonna go spend $4,000 on a laser. Like, is that what you really want to be? I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just where are you at in that price range?
So I was actually just producing a video for my channel about this subject. It's really about, if I buy a laser, how do I have my business pay for it? Like, how do I get my business profitable to pay for it? And how do I measure things like return on investment and stuff? So that should be out, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Is it featuring coasters?
I do mock coasters in that one. Yes.
There you go. James said the 70 Max. Clack has a A70. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The 70 Max. That thing is just. Let's see if I can find a picture.
60 watt CO2 is pretty capable. Yeah, the most of the ones I mentioned here, they're all 55 watt, or 60. It depends on how aggressive the marketing team is. but you can get certainly bigger ones. My big laser's a 90 watt, which I use mostly for cutting and fast engraving jobs.
There you go. I'm trying to find a picture so we can share it. It's just literally every single time I saw someone holding it, like on Facebook, it was just like holding it like this. It was like
it's an
massive.
open frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they'd stop making open frame lasers.
Hello, Juan. ATX Woodcraft said Monport Reno 65 Pro is 40 inches wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the CO2.
Yeah, if you watched last week's episode, you'll hear a lot of negativity about Monport, though.
Yeah, they definitely got attacked last week, right? It was like a big backlash for sure.
Not by me, Monport, just so you know.
No, and we were being truthful and honest in anything we've had, but yeah, there was some.
I have
disgruntled
attacked
customers.
laser companies, but I've done it directly to them, not out in the open.
Yeah, there was some disgruntled customers for sure.
No, I have them on port. Other than the little temperature indicator is going to bad like right away. I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I have the Monport K40. My first one was a dud, and the second one's perfect. But I guess anything that's mass produced there could be an issue. But yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whose name is on it. You're going to get bad ones every now and again, right?
Yeah.
Like all it takes is a bad tube if it's a CO2, and you hate the company as a result.
Yeah, they were sending me this part, that part, troubleshoot this, through that, and after they finally couldn't get it to work, they just sent me another one, and that one worked fine. But yeah, it's been going fine ever since. So we were talking about duds. You guys want to just make some kindling and practice with lasers? You can definitely make some of these.
You know, you could take that design and do some CNC version of that thing.
Yeah, I'm never making these ever again.
I think the reason they're not selling is because they don't have that 2.5D texture. You should really try them on a CNC. Make about
no,
50.
Don't ever make these. I don't care what anyone tells you. They do not sell.
I've sold a lot of garden stakes, but mine are smaller. They're only like 6 inches long. Right?
Well, take Skylar's advice, like what she told me to do with my porch signs I couldn't sell, is give them away as gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I made this nice little box, and I gave it to my wife and said, "Here, you can use this in the garden."
Yeah.
So there you go. She could have it for the garden. But yeah. I thought it was funny though that people were really surprised that we were showing duds. You know, every item is not a home run.
We could make up a whole episode of just failures.
No, it's because on YouTube everyone's got to be like polished, right? Like,
but you see, I like to think positively, so I don't make duds. I make firewood.
There you go.
Really nice firewood.
Kindling. Fire starter kits.
Well, it's usually hardwood, so you're not going to start a fire with it, but
yeah.
it'll keep you warm once you get one going.
There you go. But no, as stupid as that we'd said about the whole reason we're doing the lawnmower things is because it's not necessarily part of our niche in our channels. You know, we're more of a side hustle makers channels. But the point is that while it's cutting your grass, you're doing something else more productive. You're trying to be able to generate income.
And that's the angle I used in mine. Like mine is out there, and what I think is kind of cool is it's got an odometer on it, so you can, in the app on your phone, you can see how much distance is on it. Mine has pretty close to 900 kilometers on it now.
Oh wow.
So that's. Well, I do have a video I'm going to have coming up here that's really outside of my channel subject, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that is a irrigation controller for our nursery and greenhouses. Right now I'm using an Orbit, just, basic, like what you use for lawn sprinklers. This one is newfangled, and you can actually operate it off your phone. and you can be like 100 miles away, and you can check, and it'll tell you how much rainfall you had and how much water it's put out. The pump's working, if the fertilizer injector's working. So that's going to be my next install here coming up. After we finish fixing sprinkler heads that got broke off in the tornado last week.
Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy.
I thought all pro greenhouse type people used Rainbird or something.
I used to use Rainbird. All of my solenoid valves are Rainbird.
I don't know. I've never had a greenhouse.
Well,
Hello from Pine Valley,
holes.
California. Pine
Valley, California sounds like the nicest place on earth. It does. I don't know where Pine Valley is.
Although
nice.
California's been a little crazy lately, right? I don't know.
Apparently, when you guys have a fist fight in downtown LA, you have to call in the army. What's wrong with you guys?
Marines, not the army. Yeah. Marines.
Well, I saw a thing on Facebook yesterday where Canada wanted to buy Oregon, Washington, and California.
Well, we could do that. Save a few people.
They're like, it's weed's legal here. Come on, man.
Yeah, we need some beachfront, some more.
There you go.
We actually have the longest coastline in the world. I think it's like crazy. Now, most of it is under ice 8 months a year, but
I said I'd like to see when the experienced folks here share their duds. It's like help if you see things go not their way as planned.
Well, I'll make a point of bringing a dud next week. How's that?
I got a dud that's not too far. I don't even know why.
The problem with duds is they're failures, but in the end, they just look like something you didn't finish, because at some point when you failed, you just toss it aside and start over again. Yeah, I don't have anything from my shop in here. But.
So we say all the time, don't be complacent, right? Complacence what gets you in trouble. Complacency gets you in trouble. And you're in the room, a laser's running all the time. Don't think, hey, I've done it a million times. I've been here. Nothing's ever happened. I can go out of the room, or I could go do something else and just let the laser run. Bam.
Yeah. I have had that happen before.
I made a ton of these back to back, back to back, back to back. It must have had some kind of filler. And I saw it just go up like a sparkler.
Yeah, it's like a Roman candle, right? It's like plastic wood filler they put in there.
Yeah.
To fill the voids, and it's pretty flammable.
Yeah, so I was making them during Christmas time, like a bunch of different prayers. So literally just the same board, just going and going and going.
Before you knew it, you had chestnuts roasting by the open fire.
I was the laser was like right there. I'm sitting right here, and I just saw woof. I turned around, but yeah, crazy.
Hey, I like the fact that it's way away from Los Angeles and 4,000 feet up.
Yep.
Now it sounds even better. Anything that's far away from Los Angeles is okay with me.
Like I said, I just made the coolest round bottle openers on the CNC and personalized them with the laser. Combining two machines is cool. Yeah,
definitely. There you go. That's what you got to do, right? It does. I think I mentioned this. It frustrates me when people buy one tool and think they're going to change the world, right? If you just buy a laser, even if you just buy a CNC, there's a set of things you can do, and then there's a blind spot, and you really need multiple tools.
And I think that sets you apart from others, right?
Yeah.
Being able to do different things. So curious, Madre, what CNC do you use in laser, if you don't mind me asking? Just curious. Let us know. So if anyone have any questions, let us know. I appreciate everyone joining. Happy hump day, as I would say all the time. It's Wednesday. Woo-hoo. Friday's just around the corner.
Tomorrow is build my saw day.
Nice.
My saw stuff arrived today. A guy brought his own forklift to put it in my shop. And I thought the Onefinity came in a lot of boxes, or this thing came in a box that's about neck height for me. So it's, probably 5 feet, and it's a pallet. And it was insane how many parts there were.
Steve, looks like we have a question here for you.
Eufy laser looks good. I've heard people complain about the Eufy laser. Or are you talking about the printer? How's the
I
speed
assume
compared
it was
to
the
other?
printer.
Oh, now he's talking about printers. Okay, must be the E1.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, keep in mind it's a $2,500 printer, and its nearest competitor is probably 30 grand. So it's not going to be production speeds, right? It's pretty fast, but it's not like I've seen commercial UV printers, and they're just rolling stuff at.
Yeah.
But they don't promote it necessarily as a high volume production printer. They sell it as a personal UV printer, and
It's
I think
also
it
about a
meets
quarter the size as a production.
Oh, it's
huge
tiny.
giant.
Like
Right.
it's
So
I don't know. It's probably 16 inches wide, and it looks like a really big toaster is what it looks like, but it's got that kind of shape.
yeah, but I would almost say, and I'm not speaking negative, but just on the appearance and the size, you'd know its limitations, right? I mean, if you bought this big giant industrial printer, you may have different assumptions, but when it's a certain
Yeah.
size, you kind of assume that there's a certain market for it.
Yeah, so like a big commercial UV printer is going to be probably 30 inches wide,
Right.
and most of
$30,000.
them will have roll film. Now they do have a roll film option coming for the E1. Haven't seen one yet, but fingers crossed. Because interestingly, they've shown an application for it. They've shown quite a few skateboards that somebody has printed the film and done direct transfer onto a skateboard.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm waiting with anticipation for that. I think that's pretty exciting.
Nice. I just said I have a long mill MK2 Aspire, an automation 60-watt CO2. Never heard of automation 60-watt.
Did you buy Aspire? Well, you haven't bought anything yet. Are you going to buy Aspire or
Yes.
VCarve?
Aspire.
Well,
Yeah.
Spare no expense.
Yeah. What did it say? Go big or go home. I'm just gonna get it all.
Go broke or go
Said
home.
totally getting an alt mill. So yeah,
it's a nice little CNC.
So this is the only thing I say. I looked at the alt mill, I looked at the One Infinity, and then I looked at what's the one that Andy always yells about?
Shiboko.
Shiboko. To me, Shiboko was like reminded me of like user friendly, hit the ground running, package deal, everything you kind of need, right? So that was their marketing. Like, here you go. It's like, for a noob, you should have everything you need to be successful. We kind of package deal everything together, right? That was their angle, at least the way I took it, right? Alt mail was like new kid on the block, well advanced features, reasonably priced, but new kid on the block. So there's still some bugs and kinks that they're working through.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to work through those kinks, you could probably get a really good CNC for the value if you're willing to work through some kinks, right? And then the One Infinity to me just seems beefy and more commercial, industrial to me, and that's why I went with it. But to me, One Infinity was a little more like when you walk into a Lamborghini dealership, right? They're kind of like, you want it or not? Like, that's the look I got.
Yeah.
Because like they know like it's gonna sell. So if it's not gonna sell to you, it's gonna sell somebody else. So the other companies are like, hey, they're trying to get a sale, and these guys are like, hey, you buy it or get out of here. So
yeah, you're in trouble when the first thing you enter on their website isn't your email address, it's your credit score.
That's just kind of how I felt.
But yeah, I mean the Onefinity, especially the Elites, are really like prosumer kind of tools, right? Like I use mine for commercial stuff all the time. That's all I ever use it for, and it just handles everything.
Yeah.
Now, when you see those gigantic rails, like the precision rods, I mean, those things are 2.5 inches. Like
everyone's noticing I'm not sitting where I normally sit because that table just filled with boxes, and I've been so busy working on the farm.
I mean, the thing is, you complained about not having your Onefinity so long, and now you have it, and now you're not doing anything.
Because it came at like the worst possible time, Roger, right?
There's no
when it comes
excuses,
to planting,
man. You call in
I have
sick.
like 2 weeks tops, 2.5 weeks tops that I have to get that done. Otherwise, I'm screwed, right? So it came like at the worst time possible because I have to plant, right, Roger?
Oh yeah, I mean we just dealt with this tornado, but it was very important that I get this 1/4 acre pumpkins planted for. We grow pumpkins that we donate
Yep.
to youth things and disadvantaged kids and stuff around Halloween to these different organizations, and you got to get them in. So I did manage to get that done.
Yeah, so I went with an irrigation system this year. I've never done that before. I did these soaker hoses, so I'm curious to see how well that works out. But and I've never done the whole putting that mat down. I've always just done it old school and kind of organically, pull things. I don't use pesticides, so I'm hoping that works out well. So we'll see. But a lot of money, man, a lot of money. So I think I'm like 6 grand in. You know,
Wow.
yeah. Well, since
I
I've started, I think this is the 3rd year. So just everything adds up, man. Everything adds up.
I have about 200 square feet of garden,
Nice.
so it's not very big.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
it's
only grow a handful of tomatoes, some cucumbers, a zucchini, some garlic, and onions. That's about it. Everything else
Uh,
I can. When
our
when I
whole
grow it, I can go to a local farmer and buy it for next to nothing. So
yeah. The thing is that I did it for one. I was kind of like being old school, making my kids work and help. And then when we did the farm stand, they actually sold. I just let them keep the money. Um, but it was just kind of like making them get up. You're not gonna sit in just because it's summer break doesn't mean you're gonna sleep until 1 o'clock and roll out of bed in your PJs at 3:30. Like, what's to eat? Like, where you been? I've been working till 6:30 this morning. Like, so yeah.
yeah. So Star of Texas here says he's talking about the Eufy E1. He said he's heard from a few content creators that it's slow compared to a commercial one, but he thinks they're a little scared because some of their business is going to go away. I think a lot of their business is going to go away. Um, it's definitely going to be slower than a commercial one, but if you're making things for yourself or maybe your family or friends, who cares? You push the button and you come back after a cup of coffee, right?
I see Oofy like
The
cricket.
advantage, but the advantage of the E1 over even all these commercial ones is very few of them can do all of the things it does at the same time.
Yeah.
So there are commercial ones that'll do 2.5D stuff. There's commercial ones that'll do stickers. There's commercial ones that'll do tumblers, but there's not really one commercial one that'll do all of those things.
Yeah.
And
So to me, when I see the come out, to me when the cricket, everyone with a rolling plotter was like pissed, like, hey, I spent all this money on this expensive commercial vinyl plotter, and now everyone and their mom's gonna have one of these at home, and it's gonna kill my business. And I'm not saying you can't make a ton of things with cricket. There's people that have a business completely around it, but there's limitations in what it can do. So you just have to have realistic expectations with anything.
yeah, but that's a perspective thing, right? There, if you're a commercial guy and you have a 40-inch vinyl cutter, you're going to look at a cricket and go, "This is a joke," right?
Right.
But
But
if you're just somebody who wants to make a few things to stick on a cup or maybe make some T-shirts or something, it's going to do that.
yeah.
And the thing is, and this is what the UV printer companies have to worry about, is before the Eufy E1 came out or was announced, all of those people who needed a UV printed tumbler would have to go to a commercial house to get it printed. Yep. Well, now they don't, right? So they're losing that business. Plus, now they're losing. You've got all these little shops that are going to pop up saying, "Hey, we can do UV printing."
I've never seen anything at all have all those options ever.
Not, and certainly not for that money.
No, I've never seen anything.
It's ever. I mean, it's not perfect. Like it's got some challenges, but when I first got mine, the software was pretty rough, but they fixed it. And the ink handling was okay, and they fixed that. So I think they've done some good work, and I think it's going to be successful. And certainly, judging by the number of people who invested in the Kickstarter, it's certainly going to be popular. This will be like the next wave of people who are tired of trying to make coasters on a laser are now going to make coasters on a E1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the big at-home business starter
Yeah.
bus thing.
In
But
part
you're not.
because it can do color.
Yeah, but you're not going to do factory assembly line 10,000 cups. Like,
No. Like
but
if you want to print,
someone
so
who
here's a
criticizes it.
yeah. So here's a good example. If you want to print stickers on the E1, those are definitely slow. Like if you wanted to print 50 stickers with an E1, it's going to take you a couple of days probably. Like it's not fast. Well, not a couple of days, but it's going to take hours. Whereas you could go to a commercial shop and get a sheet full of stickers printed in 15 minutes, right? So, so that's where it's different. But the value of it is I can print stickers in my house, and I don't have to go to a commercial shop to do it.
Right, just realistic expectations. You know what you're paying
personal.
for.
It's
somebody else paid
personal,
$35,000 for another printer. Come on, you know what I mean? It's like you can't
like
criticize
I mean,
something when you
I
know
was
what you bought.
seriously looking at UV printers before these guys reached out to me, and I was looking at printers that were $10,000-$15,000, and I just couldn't justify it. And then these guys came along and they said, we've got this new top secret project, and it's this UV printer. And it's going to be, under $3,000, and it's going to do all this magical stuff. And I went, yeah, right. But they showed me some of the samples that it was printing, because they had it in beta testers with hands for quite a while. And they showed me some of the samples, and it was like, oh my God, this is going to disrupt that market in a big way.
I was honestly, if I didn't see your work and Skylar's work, I was kind of like gimmicky, like maybe. But when I saw like the quality, because Skylar actually mailed me some of the stuff, like these magnets. Yeah, she mailed me some magnets, and I was like, it feels like porcelain kind of feel.
Yeah.
So I was.
It's
really
almost
surprised.
like the little fridge magnets are ceramic, and it's almost like ceramic, like it's just like an extension of the tile, right?
Yes. So I was really surprised. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, these kinds of technologies don't come along all that often.
Yeah,
that really kind of screw everything up in the market.
And
I think this is going to do that.
You made a comment, Steve, about you said when Onefinity came out that it made I keep already forgetting the name of the CNC Andy likes to use. Shapeoko come out with the 5, right?
Yeah.
That it kind of pushed them. So this could kind of be the same type of thing. You're only seeing these huge, large industrial printers be able to do these type of things, and all of a sudden they're scared, like, hey, they have a huge market share now. You might start seeing these companies start to make.
But this is always the way technology works, right? You get a company that's established, it's got entrenched in a market, and when some upstart comes along and says we can do this. The iPhone is a good example. The very first iPhone, the CEO of both BlackBerry and Nokia said, who's going to buy a phone without a keyboard? Well, where are those guys now? You can't buy a Nokia phone or a BlackBerry phone anymore.
Yeah, no, I like my BlackBerry.
And honestly, if you gave somebody a phone with a keyboard now, they'd throw it away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I had a BlackBerry, Crackberries, we called them, of course. And I mean, you're just rapidly typing in this thing all the time. Great keyboard.
I got to leave for just a minute.
But now you look at it and do this. But that's what happened, right? You got between Nokia and RIM, at the time it was RIM, now it's BlackBerry. They had like 80% of the market. So when some computer company comes along and says we've got a phone, they're going to go, yeah, who cares? You're a computer company.
I agree.
And that's what happened here, right? You got a company like it's actually Anchor, but Eufy. They come along, they make surveillance cameras and 3D printers and lawnmowers. Like they make all kinds of appliance type products. And then they came along with this thing. And I know laser companies or 3D printer companies, UV printer companies looked at it and went, yeah, this isn't serious, right? This is a toy.
No.
And it's going to be disruptive.
Yeah, for sure. I said I would love an Avid, but almost $14,000.
Yeah. I mean, I know I understand why Avids are expensive, but I don't understand, and this is maybe something we should talk to Andy about sometime. I don't understand what makes an Avid so much better than anything else. Because there's nothing
Avid, you
you
can
can
send us
make
one for
on an
$1.
Avid that you can't make on your Onefinity. Well, maybe not you, but that was a dig.
Well, here's something completely off topic. Why I had to leave for a minute. Here it is 7:35 at night, and we just got a great big delivery to our business from FedEx.
Sweet.
Say that one more time.
It's 7:30, and FedEx just now delivered. I mean, like a huge load. That's why I had to go upstairs. And this is a business. Why? It just blows my mind sometimes how late they deliver.
Yeah. Ryder said, strange part, Weird did a video where he torched a Eufy factory. They showed a pool sign with 8 foot long.
It was a good video. I watched it a couple of weeks, or last week or week before. Like he literally shows you all of the steps in assembling one of these things. Like he sits at the workstation and assembles some part of the printer. But yeah, at the end of that, they did show a piece of film printed on the Eufy. One of the things they're working on also is flexible ink. So not for t-shirts, but if you have things like backpacks and stuff and you want to print backpacks, you can do that.
Star of Texas said, I had a blank white canvas piled up, white tiles, sleigh coasters. Now with the Eufy, I can make memorial pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just...
And
for what it
as
can
far
do,
as far as I know, this ink is you can use it outside.
HF
Like, I
said,
think
think
it's
about Eufy
interior or exterior.
Think about Eufy. It's sold. There's so many people who are selling printed phone case for $5. I could see one of those little mall kiosks.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah, and this is so like, speaking of phone cases, here's one. Now the advantage here is this fish is actually raised, right? That's the typical thing you don't get if you buy a phone case at one of the little telephone booth type places in a mall. It's going to kill those businesses. It's not that the phone case is $5. It's that I can print my own phone case. I've got like 6 different phone cases. Every time I get an urge to have something new on a phone case, I'll just go print one.
Yeah. Roger, looks like you're up.
Okay, so David asks, I have an Epson ET2850 where I don't get the blue, that'd be the cyan. The tanks have ink and never run out. Is it a piece of junk now, or is there a fix? There's 3 different things that could be. Number one, is you have sediment in the bottom of that ink tank and it's plugging the little bitty teeny tiny orifice that goes to the hose. You could have a clog in the hose, or inside the printer that goes into what's called a damper tank, and that damper tank has a very thin cellophane side on it, and if that gets any kind of hole in it or leak, it lets air in, it won't let the ink flow. So one of the first things you could try to do is I actually did a video on this on my channel on how to clear that. I've got a PDF file you could download from our website for free, and just keep running that blue. And if you still don't get anything after 10 or 15 sheets, pick the printer up, disconnect it, shake it from side to side. Don't get too violent, you'll have ink everywhere. But shake it from side to side and then try it again. They eventually will clear. Unless you have a bad damper tank. And the only way to know about a damper tank is take the printer apart. And that's pretty much beyond most people's capabilities. This is very easy to break that printer when you open the top.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Good luck, David. Craig said, hi, Boston Truck, originally from
Rhinebeck, Iowa.
There you go. Thank you for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions. And guys, we don't mean to sound like a Eufy infomercial, so to speak. They're obviously not here, but this is a live question and answers, and that is the point of the question. So as they come up, we do answer. So ask away. But Steve, you want to take this one?
So Ben says the price for the Eufy is fine. I don't need an expensive UV printer. I was looking at the prices, but I think as long as you don't compete on price, then it's a good buy. Now I do think that probably before the end of this year, there'll be at least 3 more of these entry-level UV printers announced. Because certainly if Eufy can do this, anyone can do this, right?
Yeah.
And now I have to say, especially when I watched Strange Parts video, there's a lot of they were clearly working on this for a long time, because there's some serious engineering in this printer.
Very cool. Well, Roger, we have an answer to your question. You said at UPS we have to be back at the hub by 11 p.m.
Now, one thing I will say about our UPS drivers, we have daily pickup here. So, I mean, they know this is a business. They know what our hours are. And if I have a delivery coming and it's after hours, even though our house is here, they don't leave it. They'll wait till the next day.
Yeah. So UPS, because I live in a very busy street, they used to get mad because my drive is like over 100 feet long. They didn't want to back in. And I was like, why aren't you backing in? And they were saying some of the trees. So I went up in a bucket and I cut this one, whack. This one, whack. You good now? Yeah. And now they back in. My UPS driver, that dude, man, because they're doing like 55 miles an hour past my house. He's like, whoa, he goes flying in.
Yeah, most of the drivers here, when they're on the pickups especially, will back in. And we've got our driveway is way over 100 feet long too.
Yeah.
But once in a while we get a new guy, trying to do a pickup, and he'll stop out in the street and he'll come up. Oh, you got a pickup? I said, yeah, back up the driveway. Well, you sure that's okay? I said, unless you want to carry 100 boxes down the driveway.
Right.
Back right up to the door. We have a rack there. We have things on dollies, on wheels, and, roll it right to the back of your truck and away you go.
Yeah, right. I don't make my UPS driver back in. He can turn around and at the end of my driveway beside my shop. So he's okay. He always leaves a couple of bones for the dogs too.
Big Heart said, I hope they came out with a conveyor for the Eufy to make it make longer pieces. Do they?
Yeah, it won't be a conveyor. So they're not. As far as I know, they're not coming out with a conveyor, but they are coming out with a film, the ability to print on film, and that will allow you to make something that's very long, and it could be 100, whatever stickers or whatever you're making. So,
my thing to me is that if they have, or I actually think they will, a success, I could see them making a Pearl version then, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's an extra couple inches wider. It's maybe a little faster. Right. Instead of like an A2 size bed, it'll be a B size bed, whatever. So I can see that coming for sure.
Yeah, I could see that. So yeah, very crazy. Technology is changing so drastic, like even lasers did that. We were laughing. It was 5, 10, 20, 35, 40, 70. You know what I mean? It was like,
I do have another laser video planned, kind of around this, just to basically say, why are we still making lasers? Right? Because the ones that are out there are good enough at this point.
Oh, you're saying like almost like the competition is repetitive, like there's no real.
It's not even, well, there's that, but I mean, you hear people like Rich, like you get Rich on here, and he's going to say, "Oh, the X tool sucks." No, well, he may say, "Oh, the X tool S1 is terrible," but what's the one he promotes? The Lasermatic, the Rolly. He can say, "Oh, that's the best laser ever." But when you fundamentally look at these things, it's 2-stepper motors and a couple of linear rails and a laser head.
Yeah,
they're all the same, right? And there's no substantial difference between any of them anymore. So I don't, I think we're good enough now.
Something I've noticed that's really gotten to be weird is first everybody would see how big they could get, how much power they could get. Now I'm getting these offers to demonstrate these lasers. They got like 100 square millimeter work area and a 2.5 watt head. I'm not even going to bother with that.
Yeah, it's like a badge printer or a business card printer that only prints one card at a time.
So I finally told them they'd give me 3. Actually, I don't even want it. Just if they allow me to give away 3, I'd do the review. And they didn't reply. And it was like, well.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the margins on these little printers have to be like single-digit percentages, right? Like,
you know what I was going to say?
Money on these.
I have like this walk-up bar at my pool, right? And the reason I built it was because that it's an above ground pool, and you'd be swimming. Some people don't want to get in the pool, and they were just like awkwardly standing next to the pool. So I built this walk-up bar. So if you're inside the pool, you could be like this, drinking a beer or whatever. But then someone didn't want to be in the pool, they could stand on the outside. You could kind of drink and hang out together. I was gonna take that little thing and have my kids make all kinds of cool things, just laser engrave it all over the bar. I just thought it would look cool, you know.
Well, you could do that with a Nano.
Yeah, get a Nano or a laser pecker.
No,
or
but I'm
something.
saying that was the idea with this little tiny thing. You know what I mean? That, well, what am I gonna do with this thing? What am I, how am I gonna show this?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, so somebody actually left a comment in the Pixie video that I did, which is one of these small ones. It's a class 1, so it's enclosed, but it's like, this is not a commercial laser. Like, you could not go into any kind of business with this, even a small business. This thing is designed for, you and your family to learn how lasers work and decide if this is what you want, right? If this is a tool you want around your house. It's just how it is, right? And I don't know why all of a sudden everybody's selling these small lasers. Like We Create is working on one. And it's like, I don't get it.
Said, yeah, should I get a laser added to my Onefinity? Seems like a very cheap option and nice to have, even if I decide to use a standalone laser in the future.
No.
I say no to.
Yeah.
I say no for a couple of reasons. I say no for one, unless you're going to build a big enclosure over it, how are you doing fume extraction?
Yeah.
For one, right? And then for two, I say, it's like saying I want to buy a Lamborghini to put a governor on it. That's kind of how I think about it, because
yeah. Well, yeah, and I'll add a couple more. So if you have a spoil board sitting there, it's an MDF piece of MDF. If you're doing any kind of cutting on that, for example, even, you screw up and you engrave off the piece or something, you're going to just burn the crap out of your spoil board, and you'll be forever changing them. The second thing is, when that thing's being a laser, it's not being a CNC. So
Right.
just buy a laser, right? Buy a laser and a CNC.
I would just say that for what you could make with that laser, the cost of a laser that would be equivalent would be way cheaper than what you have invested as a CNC, and now your CNC is being occupied, being used as a laser versus a CNC.
Now the one advantage of doing this is, if you want to engrave like a 4x4 sheet or a 4x8 sheet, if you've got a big CNC, right, you can do that. But that's a real corner case. I don't know. I don't do big pieces very often, and that seems to be a lot of money to tie up on something that I might use once or twice.
Yeah, but then you're back to the fume extraction, because
But the thing is, anything that a laser can do to a piece of wood, that CNC can do too.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, it can do it neater, probably faster too.
ABT Marketing said, do you guys go to any trade shows, ASL, Impressions, Print United, etc.?
No.
I don't. I used to go to trade shows, not in the electrical field. I did, but I don't go to any of them anymore.
I think since COVID, trade shows are a dud. They're not what they used to be.
I almost went to what's the big one in Los Angeles, or in Las Vegas? Comdex? No, not Comdex. That's ancient. What the hell is the big trade show? It's the biggest trade show in the world. I almost went to that. X-Tool invited me to go, but I was busy and I couldn't get there. But that was the only one. I used to do trade shows all the time as an engineer nerd, but I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. I think since COVID, that's really changed big time. And I think things are slowly. I don't think things are ever back the way they were prior to COVID, but they slowly did change, right? But I think we've been forever affected.
Now, speaking of trade shows, I still have free tickets for Lightburn's show coming up, but you have to send me an email and you have to set up by, or get it registered by, what day is this? Wednesday, by Friday, end of Friday.
So if you guys want to go,
and it might actually be the beginning of Friday.
Save money
So
on
you got
buying the tickets.
2 days. But if you want to go, I got free tickets. You'll still have to
$3.99.
pay for your own hotel room and stuff. But it's New York.
So Roger, that shirt, was it one of the companies who are sponsoring you to wear these shirts?
Yes, it is.
So do you care to share where they can buy these shirts from?
It's called AlohaDaddy.com.
Aloha Daddy. There you
That sounds like it's made for you.
That's funny.
Did you get like some kind of royalty kickback because they're basically using your identity as their name?
No, I'm not an affiliate or anything. It's just that, hey, if you'll wear these shirts, and then if anybody asks, and you did, then I can say where they came from.
There you go.
I've
Daddy.
only had a Hawaiian shirt once, and it was when I got married. And the reason was because we got married at our house, and I basically threw my keys to my best man and said, "Lock up when you leave because we're going to Hawaii."
Oh, nice.
Well, most of the shirts I have, we bought when we were down in the different places in the Caribbean, and my wife picked them out. But once I started wearing them, then a couple different companies hit me up to do some things, so I took them up on it.
Nice.
It's an interesting shirt. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if it's a tree or like it's a X-ray of your circulatory system or something.
It's called the Tree of Life. It's
I figured
it's his soul. Mark said, painted layers laser project. What glue would you recommend to glue paint layers together? CA glue.
Yep, CA glue and
CA.
accelerator. That's what we do when I do layered things.
Matter of fact,
yeah. The fact that it's painted though is the concern.
You don't think I'm just saying it? Look, I just got a bunch from Amazon. Just got delivered, and it's not sponsored.
Why'd you get the small one, man?
Because I wanted all the different colors, and they didn't have the. It was like $98 for the. So I'm like, oh, yeah.
The colors of your CA.
Yeah.
Oh, I just use clear.
I only use clear and black.
No, I use black, brown. I use all the different colors. Yeah.
Have you figured out how you're going to hold your material down on your CNC? You're going to use like tape, like two layers of tape. Are you going to clamp it?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
No, I do the blue tape and the CA glue.
Yeah, I do that. I don't use physical clamps though, no matter what. If it's something big and there's room, I'll screw it onto the wasteboard. But
so if it's something big, you
use. So do me a favor, use clamps for a while, and then you can. Speaking of our failures, you can bring a clamp that got chewed up by a tool bit.
That's why I don't use clamps.
Well, I kept hearing people saying that they're literally buying 3D printers only to print their own clamps because they're so expensive.
And they're crazy expensive.
And if they break them, who cares? They just print another one.
Yeah,
and it was for like not just certain things, like no real reason why it's expensive, but just
but those aluminum hold down clamps with a big nut on the top, I guarantee you, if you go to anybody's shop, including mine, you're gonna see cuts through the sides of those things because they always get hit by tool bits.
So what's your primary way to hold things down? Screw it to the spoil board?
Usually I'll just put a piece of tape down and on each side of like the spoil board and the material, and just squirt some CA in there and some accelerator and plop it down.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, here they only wanted me to DJ when I'm wearing the shirt. Actually, I do DJ occasionally still for like geezers and old people, but I haven't been wearing these shirts doing it, but I guess I could.
So do you buy the big giant bottles, Steve, of the CA glue?
It's not the CA glue. That's a bottle it's significant, but it's the accelerator. It comes in a bigger spray can.
Oh yeah, I got that's it.
Yeah, the ones I use are probably 3 times that size.
Yeah, me too. Mine's Mitropol, or I can't even remember the name of it exactly. It's a great. It's the size of a
Starbond.
Rust-Oleum paint can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like I like Starbond, but I didn't like the aerosol version. It seemed like
Well,
there was
that's
a
the
ton left.
accelerator, probably.
Right, no, right. But what I'm saying is seems like there was a ton left in it, and it just wasn't working. So
Oh,
they sell a pump version, and need to
maybe
get
you
every
just
ounce
got
out
a
of it.
faulty can or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was so expensive. I was like, fool me once, right?
Yeah, you can get it on sale quite a bit.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight for you guys probably has it. You won't get sales on Amazon, but
I don't know.
not
Well,
that
for
kind of
for what I do on the C, for gluing things down on the CNC, I just use the generic CA glue because I don't care how long it holds, as long as it holds long enough for me to do the project.
It literally only has to hold two pieces of tape together.
Yeah, but if it's like when I'm doing layered signs and stuff like that, I use Starbond or one of the name brands. Tight Bond is the other one I use. This Tight Bond has 3 different viscosities you can get. There's thin, medium, and thick.
Yep.
Depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So go buy yourself some 2.5-inch blue tape. A few rolls. You're going to use a lot of it.
Yeah, I got a sleeve of that. I use that a lot for painting.
Yeah, I got some I got some that's like 6 inches wide. Like masking tape. So literally you put it one swipe on a board and one on your spoil board and you're good. Because otherwise you're trying to line it up. You don't want to leave gaps because if the glue squirts in there, you'll glue your material to your spoil board. And, things. There's stories.
Yep, yours happened.
He says I buy Starbond glue, but use a cheap activator from Amazon. Yeah, all the activators are basically the same chemical.
Yep.
Yeah,
It all smells bad.
Yes,
it doesn't smell bad. It just it really gets to my lungs. It's not.
Yeah.
If you squirt some on your hand and you have a cut on your hand, you'll know it.
I've used it like a ton, and I actually felt my lungs felt like a little warm in there.
Yeah, and having CA glue
and chemical burn.
Having CA glue handy is a good way to close cuts if you cut yourself too.
Oh yeah, yeah, you glue them right together.
It was originally CA glue was originally developed for medical teams in the Vietnam War for doing emergency field repairs of somebody.
Yeah, wouldn't doubt. So now we're on the subject. If you own a CNC, what is your choice of method of holding down your material? I'm curious.
Yeah, and if you use clamps, post some pictures.
Yeah, I just said I use work. Yeah, and that's the thing too. You can go on our Facebook group and post some examples on how you actually are clamping down your materials. I'm sure everyone has a different to their method to their madness. I'm just curious to see, and I'm learning. I'm normally giving people's advice. I'm asking advice from you. I just said I use woodworking tape for wood. Hippie tape for
hippie tape.
Hippie tape.
Never heard of that
phenolic. Where do you even get phenolic to cut anymore?
Yeah, and clamps when possible for CNC. Never heard of hippie tape. Which I said the great thing about Starboard is all the extra tips they give you. Yeah, that is one thing I do like about them. Like right inside
Starbond, I guess. Autocorrect bit them there.
Yeah, they give you all the extra tips, even the lids.
Yeah, it's good if you, because there's a lot of times when you want a really fine tip, and
yeah,
most of the big bottles I use, you're literally taking a knife and hacking off the top, right? So it's going to be that size until it's empty. Well, that's not true. It eventually closes itself up, and you have to peel off the CA. But
either that or you cut it down a little farther, and make the tip even bigger.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just use a small drill bit and punch it out.
Said X fasten tape works great for CNC hold down.
Yeah,
there's like a double-sided tape, or
the one thing I did see, and I was curious about it, is because I do a lot of paint, a lot of my laser engraving. So I was thinking the same thing with the CNC. I saw this really thin, almost like transparent blue tape. A lot of people putting over their wood before they CNC it. I forget the brand.
Oh, yeah, it's Oracle or something, right? It's something like that.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that, because they were saying if you use
So
masking tape, that it really
no, but if
dulls
you're
up the
gonna
blades.
paint it after, like if that's why you use that stuff, right? So
Right. Because
um,
instead if you use masking tape, it really dulls the blades, and that's why I do want to use that particular brand because it doesn't have that effect on the blades. I don't know if there's
yeah,
truth in that.
I think that's a stretch.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds like an
That's
urban
what
legend.
I'm saying. I'm not
A
sure.
a carbide bit can cut brass. It's I
Yeah.
don't think a piece of tape is going to dull it.
Yeah, just could be a marketing thing, but yeah, that's what I've read. You're up, Steve.
Tim wanted to thank me for my coin video. He was making some coins. The offer's still open, Tim, if you want to come and play with some tools.
Nice. There you go.
He
Might have said
lives not too far from me.
I'm sorry. I make light diffusers, so I don't know how to say this.
Phenolic.
Phenolic is a special order.
Yeah. Phenolic is like an old material from like the 60s. They used it a lot in electronics and electricity.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made it anymore.
Yeah,
what is phenolic?
It's like Bakelite kind of thing. It's layered though. It's like, think of layered fiberglass, but really thin, like thin layers. It's cool stuff. It's very strong and guaranteed to be flat. Like, I would use it more if I knew where to get it, but the one place I did see that had it was crazy expensive.
Or Mac is awesome, she said.
Or a mask. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 Tims. I know lots of Tims. And you can both come to my shop and play with tools if you want.
Ordinary Woodworker said, I use CA glue, Fast Cat brand, and blue painter's tape for CNC. So it looks like that's pretty.
Yeah, that's common. What I do. Yeah, it's cheap, right? And it's quick.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've only ever had it come off the spoil board once, I think, and that was me being a little crazy with the tool speed. And just like sometimes if you'll cut a small piece out, like you tape it down, you cut a small piece out of a board or something, and that small piece doesn't have enough adhesion, so it'll pop out. It won't fire out like a table saw, but it can jam the bit and knock the board, the whole board.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Kind of like catch it, right?
Yeah, it gets kind of jammed in there sometimes. So if you know you're doing those small pieces, you have to make sure you have good coverage on your tape. Because sometimes I'll just run like 2 stripes of tape down and leave a hole in the middle and just put glue on 2 pieces of tape. But if you cut a small thing out of the middle where there's no tape, it's floating after it's loose, right? Now you could use tabs as well, but then you have work to sand them all down after.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I'll be asking you a ton of questions, Steve.
You're in for some fun.
And Skylar keeps saying, "Well, Rick, if you can learn it, then I'm going to learn it." So I guess
we gotta get Skylar to buy a CNC.
No, she didn't say if, she said when. Remember?
yeah. Well, I before you got on last week, I was talking to her about CNCs, and she's buckling. Well, it's just like, especially she does so much inlay, right? And it's just so easy to do in a CNC compared to doing it by hand. Now, I mean, I'm lazy, so it's easy for me to justify it, but I don't get a lot of joy out of doing inlay other than the finished product. Parts for Seeberg, Wurlitzer pianos.
No, we're looking at jukeboxes here because they're.
Oh yes, okay.
Rockola, yeah. Well, that's got to be an interesting thing. Restoring a jukebox, restoring an old pinball machine. Those are some of the coolest projects if you have a lot of patience.
I restored one pinball machine, and I got it for next to nothing. And the reason I got it was because it was made the same year I was born, so it too had silver hair. but
I didn't think they
had. It was a fun project. I mean, when you open one of these things up, the old ones, and you go, "How the hell did they ever make these things work?" Right? Like,
was it the one with the crank and it has like a big cone on it?
No, it wasn't that old. You insert a quarter, and it was a pinball game called Beatniks. And I played the thing for a long time, and then somebody came by and offered me something I couldn't refuse, and my pinball machine disappeared. But I'd get another one today if I knew where to get one.
Nice.
Did you have to rewire it? Because the one I did, I had to completely rewire it.
I did some, not a lot, but all the solenoids were messed up in the thing, and so you spent a long time cleaning contacts and things, because they were all electrical contacts, right? There was no real high tech in them, other than the fact that there was wire in there, a lot of wire.
Yeah.
Yep, jukeboxes. They're things
I
from
would
days
think
gone
that,
by.
like, things like that, we always talk about niches, right? A niche market like that, you have a premium, you charge a premium price to restore things like that.
Yeah, because there's not really a lot of people who restore things like jukeboxes. So, anybody who has one and wants it fixed is going to be willing to pay money for it, for sure.
Madre, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, I would definitely encourage you to join. I would love to see some of these restorations you do. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of them, both in progress and finished.
Yeah, that'd be totally cool. I'd definitely love to see it.
Yeah, the jukeboxes I have now in the bars and such, you can you run them from your phone.
Yeah, they're all digital.
Little box on the wall, and everything's digital. And
hey, Steve, Vintari says he's restoring a 1979 Star Trek pinball machine.
Nice.
Oh no, it's for sale. He's not restoring it. Yeah, you should definitely buy it.
Yeah.
Pinball restoration goes through cycles, and it's in an up cycle now. People are really eager to get things restored. Seems like every time the previous generation gets old, they want their technology from their era, right?
I just approved to everyone who wanted to join the Facebook group. So
are we at 500 now?
Let's see. We're at 496.
Oh, come on, people.
we need 4 more people. Yeah, very cool. No, and jukeboxes definitely have a unique style, a sound, right? That mono speaker,
especially the older ones with like tube amplifiers in them. They were just so rich, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people went to diners to listen to music because it was a better sound system than they had at home back in the day, right?
We used to have a diner around here where they had little jukeboxes at each table.
Yeah.
At the end of the table.
Oh yeah, those were cool. I remember those.
Yeah.
I remember those. Yeah, those are cool. You know what I wish they still had is drive-ins around here, Roger. Do they have drive-ins in Canada?
Not anywhere near where I live. Oh, that's not true. There's one probably an hour from me, but it's the only one left in like Eastern Canada.
Oh, there's one here right across the river. It's on Highway 61 between Davenport and Clinton, I think, up towards that way. I haven't been there in quite a few years. But the way the drive-ins are now is you're listening to the sound on your car radio. You tune it to a certain channel, and back when I went, you had the speaker you hung in the window and
big metal heavy thing.
Yeah, but
those things have value now too. Like if you find somebody who has those speakers that hung on your window. I mean, when I was in high school, we had a drive-in close to us, and that was always a good date night.
Yeah,
I spent most of my time at the drive-in in the back seat, and I never really watched a movie.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. It was a good date night.
Yeah. So when I remember I was a freshman. I had my license at 14. I had asked my girlfriend at the time, did she want to go to the drive-in? And her mom said to me in front of her father, "I don't think she's ready to go to the drive-in yet, Rick." And I said, "What? Why?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was just saying to go to the movies. Her mom said she's not ready yet.
I was actually disappointed when our local drive-in closed down. I mean, there's a certain charm with drive-ins.
No, I loved it, man. I used to take my kids. It was definitely a blast. I remember I was a kid going there all the time. There was 2 local to me, one in West Chicago and one in Aurora. They're both closed. So
yeah, there's not many left.
No.
Like I said, there's one about an hour from me. I don't know if there's any more until you get into like Western Canada. I mean, there's probably some, but
it's definitely a blast. Something cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? It's
I guess two sets of fun. So when you're a teenager, it's a different kind of fun, but when you're as a kid growing up, it's definitely fun too. So.
You know, you go to a drive-in, you got relatively bad picture, you got okay sound. But it was always a good time. Sometimes you take a carload of people and just have a party.
One time I went to a movie, and I had the Delta 88, and it was all tinted up, and I had the back seat completely loaded up, and I had the trunk full, and we pulled in, and the guy says 2. I'm like, yep. I paid for 2. We pulled in, we parked, popped the trunk, and it was like one of those circus events.
Yeah, I had a friend with a 1965 Chrysler New Yorker. You could put 6 guys in the trunk real easy.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying they enjoyed the drive-ins as well. You know, it's crazy. That's just something that kids won't even understand.
Yeah,
sneaking in the trunk, exactly.
There's a lot of things modern day kids don't understand about old geezers like us. Well, not you. You're still young, Rick, but
no, but it was just, I don't know. It was definitely a family event, something you could do. It was not the same going to a theater.
It was a good time.
Well, there used to be a drive-in really close to where I grew up, and we could ride our bicycles up on the highway and get off off the highway on the bridge, and we could see the movie. You couldn't hear it, but we could watch it. But that movie, A Clockwork Orange, came out back in the 70s, early 70s, and that was like one of the very first. It'd be an R-rated movie now. Back then, it was like X, and we're like 14 or 15. We got to go see that.
That's not exactly the kind of movie you want to watch as a kid. That would change you.
Oh, yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah, Roger saw Debbie Does Dallas on that movie theater. Crazy times. Yeah. So
sneaking into the trunk. Yep, a lot of people did
it. I guess we're all aging ourselves, but you know what's funny is that when you look at the data, right, on our who watches and who volunteers, it looks like for the most part everyone's around our age anyway. So I think they kind of understand. We don't unfortunately tend to draw a younger crowd. So
no,
that's fine.
I don't know why. I'm so young and vigorous.
No, I
had to have a nap this afternoon.
It's this. It's this. Because to be honest, the hobbies we're getting into are pretty expensive. Maybe the younger kids, they're just right priced. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad. Like certainly things like diode lasers, and maybe this is the advantage of these small ones that are $100, because it allows people who don't normally have the means to do that kind of thing to get a laser, and it doesn't take a lot of space. So if you live in an apartment, you take it out on your balcony and run it, right? But yeah, I mean, somebody's not going to buy. I mean, like my 90-watt laser weighs 400 pounds, right? So it's not like you're going to buy one of those or make one yourself or anything. So
Kevin said, when I was younger, I went in our PJs and sit in the back of my dad's truck. Yeah, see?
Yep.
Yeah, my parents had a station wagon, and my sister and they had our pajamas on us, and we get in there, and of course we fell asleep long before the movie was over, but yeah, I remember those days. Get popcorn and popsicles. And
Jim said, late arrived from Chicago. Jim, did you ever make it to the drive-in on North Avenue in West Chicago, or maybe to the drive-in in Aurora, since you're in the area? Just curious.
Well, he's from Joliet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's close.
Is it? You make it sound like it's like next door, but West Chicago and Joliet are kind of on opposite sides of Chicago, right?
I like this here. Third try. I saw Star Wars for the first time at a drive-in in Los Angeles. 1963 Buick.
Nice.
Wow. You'd have space to stretch out in that thing.
Yeah.
It said Arctic Designs and Arctic Design and Creation said, it's not the same watching Netflix through someone's window with them knowing they're driving through the good old days.
Yeah, it tends to draw a different group of people.
Yeah. I'm 39, but I have been told I have an old, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm much older than that, and my wife keeps telling me to grow up.
Now, Woodstock said, I used to live in Marietta. Marietta. Hello from Warren's Robbins, Georgia. Hello. Thank you for
Warren
joining
Robbins?
live. Thank you for joining live.
It's got to be near Atlanta, because isn't everything in Georgia close to Atlanta?
Grum said, did not do a whole lot of drive-in movies.
Well,
Some
my
of us were more lucky than
girlfriends back in the day, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, I've been to many drive-in movies. I've only watched a couple of them. But.
Yeah.
Jim said Aurora had R-rated movies. They actually had one that was on New York Street. And when they started building subdivisions around, that was one of the reasons they closed it, because they were showing R-rated movies. They said they didn't want to be able to see it from people's houses. Last movie I saw in the drive-in was Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. That would be a fun drive-in movie.
Yeah.
If there was still a drive-in crowd here, I would definitely take my kids, 100%. So if you're trying to invest in something, open the damn drive-in in the Chicagoland area. Back in the 60s. Yeah, there you go. Tim Sand says, I live one block over from the old Capitol Theater where I saw Star Wars in 1977. There you go.
Yeah, I remember lining up, one of many people lined up around the block to go see Star Wars. And when I watch it now, it's like, this is not a great movie.
I know
the storyline's pretty thin. It's okay. It's a fun movie. But
so my son's obviously 5, and I'm like, you gotta watch some of these classic movies. You're gonna like it. And I stick it on, and he's kind of like, and I'm like, I want to turn it off. And I was the one trying to convince him. I'm like, why did I like this?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Why did I like this? But yeah, we were easily impressed, right? Even when you see like the scene where they're flying.
When Star Wars was new, there was nothing like it, right? So
No.
all the special effects were super cool for the day. Now you look at them and go, man, this looks cheesy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah. So
probably why Lucas has reproduced the thing about 4 times to keep up with the technology.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. All this AI stuff now, it's gonna be nuts.
So have you seen the stuff Google's working on that you can do AI video with audio? This is terrifying to me.
Is that what is it? GEI or
VO3 or something?
I've read a little bit about it. I haven't really studied up on it or anything yet.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it will come.
It's going to get to the point where, because Google themselves are pushing to have people use this to create videos, right? And it's going to be, I don't know if people are going to react well or terribly to this, because you're going to watch a video and you're not going to know if it was produced by an actual person or some digital head, right? It's just
right.
And there might be blowback. I think Google's risking a lot on YouTube with this, because it opens a gap where some new company can come in and say, hey, we guarantee that there's no AI produced videos on our platform.
Hey Rick, you got some spam on there.
Probably coming from my channel.
And is it early? The last one I see is this 100 miles.
No, it's 2 after that.
There's something weird here too.
Okay. Oh. We watch Conrad with kids, and I like the man. This sucks. LOL.
So is it Conan the Destroyer or Conan O'Brien? Because they both suck. But
Oops. I don't think that one's mine, Rick. I think that's yours.
It's not mine.
That must be Roger's, because I don't have a delete for that one.
Yeah, same with me.
Well, I don't have a delete button, so
what?
That's weird. Sorry, guys.
Oh, well.
ATB Marketing said, I don't care what anyone says about Star Wars. I'm big on Star Wars, nerd. LOL. LOL.
The original three had become classics, but
Yeah.
then they developed like episode 1, and it's like, what happened?
Tim said half the stuff on YouTube now is AI. People have learned from the real from the fake, and it's just
like I use stuff to generate images and things. I did do a bit of video, and people complained about it, so I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think if you do it to be comical, or you're doing something, but to just flat out like create fictitious characters, so like you think you're gonna become a YouTuber, like this faceless YouTuber.
Until Google came out with this thing, it was easy to tell that it was AI generated because there was never any sound, right? Well, now they have sound, and it's pretty realistic. So I don't know. I think we're still at a time when you can tell the difference for the most part if you watch it for long enough. But I think that difference is going to disappear pretty soon.
Yeah, it's crazy. Jim said I just got back from delivering a laser engraved hockey puck to a 3-year-old who's a goalie. Very
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw some of Jim's hockey pucks.
Very nice. Cool.
3-year-old who's a goalie. Wow.
Conan the Barbarian. Okay, that's another one of them.
Another drive-in movie. Yeah, that's another classic drive-in movie.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's the question: what was the last movie you saw in the theater since we're starting to share? God. It's in a drive-in. That'd be cool.
At a drive-in, I can answer. At a theater, I can't.
No, drive-in, not theater.
Oh, at a drive-in?
Yeah.
Airplane.
Airplane.
What was yours?
Airplane.
Oh, the last one I saw was Flash Gordon. It was a pretty bad movie.
In fact, here a couple weeks
not
ago,
the old Flash Gordons that they used to play in drive-ins. The new one with I forget even who was in it. It was just such a bad movie.
Well, there's a bar here that my wife and I go to quite a bit. It's kind of equivalent to like Cheers was on TV. Everybody knows your name and they know what you drink and all this and that. And there's a trivia game that always play. You can play the trivia. It's a video thing. And there was some questions on there from that movie Airplane, and bang! I got it. And everybody at the bar could quote lines from that movie. Everybody has seen it.
It's a standard. I mean, the famous line, "Stop calling me Shirley."
Yeah. Pick the wrong day to quit sniffing glue. And
Back to the Future. I love Star Wars. I'm a nerd, though. I never grew up. No, I'm not hating on the Star Wars. What I was saying is that as a child, when you watched it, you were just so like awed. And when you watch it now versus what we see on TV, you're kind of like, But I get it. No, it's
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's a fairly new movie.
Yeah, but you got Spicoli and Mr. Hand.
Jeff Spicoli. Yeah.
Yeah, we get pizza delivered to the room.
I went to school with people just like that. And I'm sure they're in prison or something now.
I noticed a shift of people avoiding AI art and learning the skills themselves. I haven't seen that. I've seen the exact opposite.
Well, I guess it depends on how much of artistic ability you have. I feel like I'm one of the people that can't really draw stick people. So, yeah, I use a little bit of AI stuff. And it's hard for somebody to pull a copyright claim on you because, boy, they love doing it to me.
All right, Steve, you're up.
Yeah, so Jim sent me a message the other day asking if I knew the settings for Slate coasters for an Omni One. I never write these things down. It's usually just by feel. I set these things, but he managed to get it working. So, wow, you moved the focus up 4 millimeters. Well, yeah, that'll do it. It'll make it whiter. He was worried it wasn't getting white enough, like the engraving wasn't clean.
Yeah.
Step Brothers. Oh, that's a real modern movie.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Wow, we're into the 90s now. Well into the 90s.
Well, I think one of the wildest movies I ever saw at a drive that I actually watched was Last House on the Left.
Yeah, that was it's like a thriller, right? Like a suspense thriller.
Yeah.
Ordinary Worker said, I asked Groth AI if it could generate G code, and it said, yes, it can. Let me know all the information it needed.
Yeah, so I actually tried this the other day. I wanted ChatGPT to generate an STL file of a rook or a knight on a chessboard. And it said, sure, I can do this for you. And after a few failures, it finally said, here's an STL file you can download. And I looked at the thing. It was basically a tapered cylinder with, it looked like a pencil, the end of a pencil. It's like, okay, not only is it not a knight, it's not a chess piece.
Oh, wow. That's too funny.
So, yeah, there's still some work to do.
Yeah. I haven't honestly used ChatGPT to really generate images. I just use it for like descriptions and polishing my emails, things like that.
Yeah, it fixes a lot of things for me from a typographical perspective. But
Yeah,
my favorite Martian.
Yep.
Wow. Now we're into the 2000s, I think. Oh, no, my favorite
Oh,
Martian.
no.
Well, if you're looking at the one from the 60s.
Yeah. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he was the one that played Mr. Hand in Fast Times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy times. Things that our kids will never understand or be able to yeah. Those are definitely nostalgic moments. I really love the driving.
And you know, of course, you had Phoebe Cates coming out of the pool in the red bathing suit that basically changed life for every teenage boy in the 80s.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Well, we're almost at time. So if you have any last minute question you want to squeeze in, let us know. Let us know. We're here to help for sure. For sure. We appreciate the camaraderie and shooting the shit, so to say. Or I know I definitely use this as a time to for like a break from work. And I really do enjoy this live. So I know some people just come to hang out, and that's cool and that's fine.
Well, I got something here I could kind of share that actually happened last week. There's a conservatory by us. I have a security camera. And just before it hit here, there it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was like your backyard, right?
Yeah, it's not very far from our backyard. This is before it touched down. It touched down just behind our property and then ran across part of our property, jumped up, went across the street, and ran down about 8 more blocks and hit a mobile home park. And that was not good.
They always head for mobile home parks.
Oh, yeah.
I would never buy a mobile home just for that reason.
What I didn't understand was when the press wants to interview these people that live in these places. I mean, there's nothing wrong with living in mobile homes. I mean, I'm not being a critic there, but they always look for the smallest, skinniest guy with the fewest number of teeth they can find to interview.
Yeah,
intentional.
And then I swear every time he's got a 400-pound wife.
Yeah, makes good news.
Yeah, it's a stereotype, right? So
yeah.
Kevin said I use ChatGPT to create images to lay on the cutting board for a customer.
Yeah, you can do this. It works well, actually.
Beam me up, Sky. So we might have to have Friday Night Live movie reviews.
No, let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Oh
yeah, Ray Walston. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite Martian.
Where you're actually watching it live at the same time. Star Tech says, y'all keep me entertained while I'm delivering. Nice one. Nice one.
Stay as long as he's not a doctor, that's okay.
You know, he works for UPS, remember?
Yeah, I know.
LOL, Mr. Ed, a horse, of course, unless the horse is talking, of course.
It's a talking horse.
Mr. Ed.
Yeah,
talking. I don't remember Mr. Ed being on the movie theaters. I definitely watched it on TV.
Oh yeah,
it was a television show.
Yeah.
Ray
Walston, Bill Bixby.
Oh yeah.
ChatGPT is safe for code, and you're Mr. Hand. Okay.
Yeah, Wilbur. That's who took care of Mr. Ed.
Hello, I grew up in what is it, FLA?
Florida.
Oh,
come on, even I know that, man.
FLA. The big joke was which trailer park got hit today. I always say you have to be from Florida and live in a trailer park to win the lottery. It's like, man, whenever it's like $700 million, it's like.
Do you guys have Trailer Park Boys down in the U.S.? It was a show made here, actually, about 5 minutes from where I live, or 10 minutes maybe. It's just so bad, but it did get syndicated. And I know of some areas in the U.S. were forced to endure it.
I don't recall. James said I saw an advertisement that Best Buy is selling bamboo printers.
Wouldn't it surprise me?
That's gonna be crazy when you can walk in a store and buy something like that and walk out. That's
I'm wondering what that says about bamboo. Or like, have they hit rock bottom now? Have they filled their market and now they can't sell them anymore?
I don't know. It might be a wise decision for them if they have to, they're buying them up front. They made the sales. That sucks for Best Buy if they can't unload them, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm wondering, a lot of the stuff you can buy on Best Buy, they don't stock in the stores. You can only buy it online, and then it's drop shipped to you.
Like Walmart. Yeah, Walmart's good for that too.
So
yeah, they basically have a store system like Amazon or not Etsy, but Amazon, right? Where third parties can go in there and list themselves as a seller.
Yeah.
Jim said I tried last week that a source for table jigs for gavels. You name someone that's sells on for jigs and reasonable.
Yeah, this was in reaction to my quick jig video that I made there last week.
Were you playing?
I did look for this guy Jim, and I couldn't find his store, so I don't know. Maybe his store is called something different, but
that tornado pick would have been a whole lot better if it hadn't hit here.
Yeah. Shortly after we moved, shortly after we left our last house, within, I don't know, half a mile of there were one day shortly after we left, there were 2 tornadoes in the same day, very close to there. Yeah, that's quite the mess.
Yeah, and that's today. I mean, this is a week later.
Female said, has anyone used Metal Fab yet?
No. A few YouTubers have, but I don't know what's going on with it. I'm surprised it's not available yet. They're being very, very tight with those, though. Like a lot of people who thought they were going to get them, including me, aren't going to get them now, probably.
That sucks.
And it's, I think, to do with just how disruptive the situation and trade between China and the U.S. has been.
Tariffs.
I think it seriously impacted their revenue.
Yeah. Well, they were asking me if I wanted to do it. I'm like, oh yeah, so we got to fill out this questionnaire thing, and they wanted to see examples of the metalwork you do. Well, what do you want me to show you? A trailer I built?
It's a catch-22. You can't show them metalwork until they give you something you can work with metal, right?
Yeah.
I can show them if I still have my high school project I did in welding class. I could send them that.
Yeah, I took in the union. I took in welding 1, 2, 3 and advanced welding. Yeah, and it wasn't part of the journeyman, but I took it. I thought it was definitely something good to learn.
Yeah.
Speaking of old projects and what you did back at school, I found a cutting board that I made in 7th grade in a box of stuff we had taken out of my dad's house. I stuck it in our pantry. I may bring that out here next week just for fun.
I was going to say, Roger, if you don't show it, it didn't happen.
Put a little oil on it and it's good to go. Cutting boards last forever, right?
And back then, in 7th grade woodshop class, you could not use any power tools. Everything was cut by hand. Everything was planed by hand, sanded by hand. No power tools.
Wow.
We got to use power tools. Maybe power tools weren't invented when you were in high school.
Oh yeah, they had them there. When I was actually in woodshop in high school, our woodshop teacher got his fingers into a shaper in our class.
Ooh, that would be messy.
Yeah, and then the next day he's back with what's left of his left hand, and he's like, "Now you know not what to do."
My woodshop teacher used to play on the Dolphins. It's pretty crazy, but in high school. Looks, guys, we just hit at 8:30. We're at time. I appreciate everyone joining in the live. Today went fast. We went down a iffy rabbit hole, but I guess a lot of people had a question, so it's always good to answer the audience. And I appreciate everyone joining. Definitely seeing some new faces and see our loyal subscribers come back. Roger, Steve, anything you want to say to close out?
No, hopefully I'll get some videos made this week.
I will be assembling my saw stop tomorrow, so.
And I will be putting my CNC together this weekend, so you can hold my feet to the fire to that one. So
Well, you have my email address when you want to know how to plug it in and turn it
I have
on
your
and
phone
that kind of
number. It's even worse, Steve.
Yeah, that's a little terrifying.
All right, guys. I'll talk to
All
you.
right.
See y'all next week.
Yep.
Thanks,
Bye.
all.